Hey everyone, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another stream. We're going to continue working on the PulseChecker, and as always, as it says right here, don't be shy, ask your questions, and I should be able to answer those questions as well. So, if I remember correctly, work, we did make quite a lot of progress last time on PulseChecker, but um, as far as I remember, we started working on some UI as well. So we're gonna continue working on that actually. But feel free to jump in the chat to ask any questions, and if there are any answers I can give, feel free to let me know as well. Let's bring that guy. Let's bring the chat as well, so everyone can see their messages as well. So feel free to send a message. So if I remember correctly, the Docker should be running my PulseChecker database, which is a Postgres database. If you don't already know, what happened to this guy? Okay, this is much nicer. And in my Docker setup, by the way, can everyone hear me perfectly, or do I need to increase the volume? Can you give a thumbs up in the chat so I know that the volume is good? Zahid Aslam Sawati. I'm a beginner. How I start web development? Zahid, मेरी assumption ये है कि आपको उर्दू समझ आती है, तो मैं उर्दू में आपको बता देता हूँ. CodewithAhsan.dev. This is a site जहाँ पे you can find courses, and courses में you can find the web development basics Urdu Hindi. This is a very good starting point for you to start learning web development. It's very much in depth, तो you will learn a lot. इसमें जितने भी sections हैं, जितने भी lectures हैं, they are all very much in depth, और आप उसके अंदर different एग्जाम्पल्स भी देखोगे, साथ साथ में कोडिंग भी करोगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जैसे आपको अगर इस वीडियो में नज़र आ रहा है, तो हम एक आउटपुट देख रहे हैं, ठीक है, और साथ ही साथ जो है वो हम वी एस कोड के अंदर कोड भी कर रहे हैं और उसका आउटपुट भी देख रहे हैं. तो बहुत छोटी छोटी सी वीडियोज़ हैं, बट स्टेप बाय स्टेप आप करोगे तो यू लर्न अ लॉट. ठीक है, तो आई होप इंशाल्लाह दिस विल हेल्प यू. सो वेब डेवलपमेंट का कोर्स है ये. आई एम गोना शेयर द लिंक, तो आप जो है वो लिंक चैट में से ले सकते हो. ठीक है. कैन आई गेट एक्नॉलेज फ्रॉम यू जाहिद कि आपको मैसेज समझ आ गया? एम सुरहान मेमन कह रहे हैं एवरीथिंग इज फाइन. ऑसम यार, जबरदस्त. गुड गुड गुड. ऑसम. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to be majorly speaking in English, but if you have any questions in Urdu, you can also type in what we call the Roman Urdu, so I can also answer those questions as well. Also gonna turn my camera a bit around so my face is there in the center. Da, 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 da. There we go. Awesome. So, how was your day today? Today was Jummah, right? Abhi to Saturday has started, but how was your Jummah? It was pretty nice for me. As you can see, I'm wearing the Friday kurta thingy. So, how was your Jummah? I had a good one. I met a friend, or I went to the mosque with some of the developers from Salt, and it was pretty nice. We had a good chat as well. We also had a person that we lost. I mean, we had to let him go, but it was fun overall. A good day. And today was also my last day at office as well. But I will announce what's coming next when the time comes. Hopefully, inshallah. Okay, so let's actually try to at least start the server so we can take it from there. So npm start, and then we can look into the package itself. Da da da. By the way, we also have to do one more thing, and that is the Angular Cookbook's logo changes. I haven't gotten time to do that yet, but hopefully we'll be able to do that pretty soon. I'm gonna be right back. Give me 1 minute. I'm gonna be right back. Give me 1 minute. Okay, सही हो गया, I'm back. Thank you for waiting. चलें जी, we'll start. Okay, so if I remember correctly, last time we were looking at the UI of the components that we have to show. So this is the local version of the app. Those of you who don't know, this is an app that can be used to take feedback from anyone, and you can create a questionnaire, and then you can take answers anonymously on that. And then it also gives a really sort of good sort of UI for them to use the application as well. So we'll be doing that actually. So if I remember correctly, if I go to the session, this is where we were. So when I click this, I think it takes some time before it goes there. No, it doesn't. Okay, yes. So these are the components that we are rendering from the new data, and we also ran the database script as well. This is where the old component comes in. So we have a comment, we have a pace, we have a first field, and then we have the quality of content. So this is where it becomes interesting, to be honest. I'm thinking if we should first do a Figma design and then go from there, or we should do something else. Figma. I've I've not used Figma for quite a while now. I know a couple of developers that I've trained. They are pretty much familiar with Figma. I haven't done it for quite a while, but let's have a look. Because what I want to do is, I'm gonna also turn off the light. Because what I want to do is, I want to create something that I can use for this particular page. Now, if I do it like this, then it makes it a bit difficult to see how everyone has responded or what questions they've responded. So I need to be a bit creative here when it comes to how the person who is the organizer has created or is seeing this UI. So I'm thinking what we should do now. If we look at, for example, Google's responses, we do see a lot of sections for each particular question, right? It is similar to what we are doing here as well, but yeah, I'm thinking, because now this is changing to, I don't know. We had different in the beginning, we had different opinions. So in the beginning, what we wanted was, this is the dashboard, and if anyone goes and tries to give a feedback, then it would be reflected right away. For example, if I try to duplicate this, and let's say this one is a bit shorter, like this one, and this one is like this, for example. So in this case, if I went to the sessions and if I tried to click this, go here, and then give the feedback, change it to too slow, or let's say too fast, and submit, you'll see that instantly this one changes. So this was the original UI. So everything everything works in real time. If I change this again, this should also work. And the idea was that organizers should be able to see this while the session is really happening. Now, when I am thinking about it, is it possible for us to also see all of this information in a better way? But then also, what happens if we have a lot of questions in this? For example, this one just has like a rating, second rating. Now this could be a huge pulse in this case, but then that basically destroys the purpose of the app. And that is what I'm thinking, because if this becomes more like Google Docs or Google Forms, then why would the person not use Google Form, and why would the person or anyone use this instead, if that makes sense? One of the reasons that I know of is that you can actually embed this UI outside of the application itself. That is one of the selling points, or that is one of the things that you would want. However, I don't want this to become a an alternate to Google Doc or an alternate to Typeform, because I think a lot of people already have done that. So I don't see any value in it. So then the question becomes, how do we do this? If we can have a lot of questions which can also be sort of, you know, um, ordered based on first question, second question, blah, 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 then that means this form can become really, really big, if that makes sense. So should we have different kinds of, I mean, we discussed that we would have different kind of templates or sessions for that matter. But I don't also want to limit this. So for example, in the future, you could have certain templates that people might have made public, and then you could start using those as well. So that's what I'm thinking actually. So I'm not sure. Let's maybe start, and we'll see because I don't have a plan at the moment. We'll see how that goes then. Create a new design file in here. Can I take inspiration from I don't know, Figma design material UI kit? Maybe we can take inspiration from there. Let's see. I want to see like how many, when was this updated? Pro version. Because I don't want to create my own components, to be honest. 36.5 thousand followers, one following. Okay. Material 3 design kit. I think this is the one maybe that we can use. Date and time pickers kit. Okay. Dark theme design kit. Maybe we can use this one. It's 2.5. What is this count? Is this how many people are using it, or what? Okay, let's try both of these. So open the link in the new tab. This one is design 2 kit. We also saw the design 3 kit. Let's also open that. Okay, so this one is the dark theme. I think we can start with this and then we'll take it from there, I think. Because right now my UI is a mixture of material design versus not material design, to be honest. But I think the dark theme, we can start with that and we'll see then where this goes. It'll be fine, inshallah. Okay, so when to draft, when to file. You're currently working solo on a draft. Move this to your projects so your team can edit the file. Okay, let's move the file. Mohammad Hassan's team project. Move. Team project. Material design the community. Okay, cool. Okay, nice. Okay, you can move drafts and files into team projects at any time. Got you. And can I rename this? So let's say PulseChecker. And Okay, we've got the cover, we've got getting started, about theme, material theme. So we got typography, animation, states. Is that all? And then we have sticker sheet. Ah, okay. And then we have components. What components do we have? App bars, backdrop, banners, buttons, chips, dividers. Okay, cool. All right. So how do we want to show then the can I create a folder? Need more pages? Mama, there's 3 pages, but getting more is easy. Starter or this current plan. Free for unlimited editors. 3 pages per design file. 3 Figma. But that said, do I need to pay to Figma? So we have a cover, blah blah blah. I mean, I could move a bunch of things to one single page, but then eventually I would still need to have the designs. So if anyone is in my chat who has already worked with Figma, were you able to work without the pro plan, or did you find a workaround for this one? Because I know a lot of people who actually use this, but I don't know if they have if they use the paid version or not. Cards, and this is like different kind of variations. Mm-hmm. A floating action button. We got a bottom banner. Mm-hmm. Okay, and this is 50 plus components for. Yeah, I think this is still Material UI 3 kit. It is called Material UI. Oh no, this is the 3 design 3 kit. Okay. Omar Rafi says, "What are you looking for precisely?" I'm looking for, if what my understanding is correct, it already has 6 different pages. If I add one more, it says comes with 3 pages, but getting more is easy. But it already has 6 pages. So is that a bug, or is this correct? What I'm actually reading. So should I? What I'm trying to decide is, should I go to the paid plan, or if my understanding is incorrect for what I'm looking for, because I want to now start creating some pages. For example, right now here we have the session page. So I at least want to have some sort of UI for this that we can refer to maybe later on. On the other hand, I could also just ask someone to design it, to be honest. Otherwise, I'm just building without a design at all, if that makes sense. Uh, so we've got nav drawer, blah blah blah, text fields, elements. Otherwise, I would just have to have this right here. Okay, table of contents, getting started. I could also edit these existing pages as well. Rename page. Let's call this app pages. So we do have getting started. I don't think we need that, but we can also have a, let's call it session details. So the session details right now uses a, and I should probably close the other one. So this one goes away, this one goes away. And by the way, this is me using Figma for the first time to actually design something, which is super weird. Okay, so we start with the components, and we should be able to say not nav drawer, which is where exactly sticker sheet blah. So here. Okay, so let's go with this guy right here. Wait, where did you go? Let's go to app pages. Can I open two of them? That'll go away. So let's go to app pages here. We're gonna use this guy. What does it say? So this one I think needs to go away as well. Then we got heading, blah blah blah. We can also see the colors. Customize default color. Yeah, we'll figure that out, I think. So this whole thing that we have right now. Da, da, da. Let's quickly maybe jot it down a bit. Let's bring it the header. Okay, so in this case, let's say we do have our header. And what is the background that we usually use? I think so. Let's see, this one is computed color. It's not the one. I think it's the overall color, not that one, not this one. PulseChecker layout. Inside we have the main, and inside we should have the session. Oh, I'm checking the wrong thing. Should be background color. The brain is not braining. The background color should be of the body. So that's the color we're looking at. Okay, how do I change the color in Figma? Well, something right here. So here it says to customize the default color elevation states, update the selected layer style with a custom value under the style menu. Use our color palette generator to help come up with pairings. Check your color contrast. Okay. So then if I go to edit style, it says okay. Does it mean we are talking about the fill right here to be this or something like that? Because this is what I'm guessing we are talking about. Okay, so we do have that component right here. Now we should have some sort of heading, button, backdrop, blah blah blah. Text fields, not really. Typography, where is that? Material theme, typography. So let's go with, let's say, a heading. I think heading 2, that we can go in app pages, and here we can put a heading 2. Okay, so the nav drawer, which is this one? No. So this is a heading. This is 60 pixel. Okay. Should I not just do, I don't know, because the nav drawer seems like really small to me. So maybe something like this. I don't know how much margin we are talking about, but I'm assuming something like this. So this should be session name, and then we are also looking at and this is also one of the interesting thing, because our content is usually centered. So this is, yeah, when we go into design thing, I think I would have to document a lot of things. So I either go with my gut feeling or we'll see. So this one, I assume it changes because as I remember we are using on the main, or at least at some point we are looking at uh yeah, container. So container is a class that we are looking at. But when we go down to the mobile screen, actually we want this to be much bigger. So in this one, I don't know why do we have not a lot of spacing. So here, since we are using container, the maximum width becomes 320 pixel for this one. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if I'm okay with this. I'm most likely not okay with this. So if I look at the main, which is let's copy this. So if I go here and if I look at the layout component, I think I would want rather this to be a SM main, so it is not applied in the initial one, but is applied on the last one. Let's start with this one. So we have multiple things to fix, but I think we can start with this one. And when we're talking about multiple questions, one of the things that I'm also thinking is, where do we draw the line on how many questions can a particular session have? That also becomes very tricky. Okay, so this is now much better. So this is gonna grow or shrink, and then this grows like this. So I think I like this much more. Okay, yeah, on mobile this looks much better. And we also say something like from SM give mx auto, but by default give mx 10, which is 40 pixel. No, I think we should go with just 6 24 pixel. I think that's good. So it's always some margin. Yeah, so even if I go a bit down, previously it was taking the whole width, but it takes at least 24 pixels. This is much better. All right, so we go inside the name. Let's have a look at the questions now. So I think we can start with that could be Umar. That could also be. Okay, never mind. I mean, I think I could just create more stuff right here in the pages, because I think the page itself is like unlimited, so we don't need to worry about that. But it's just my noob brain working on Figma for the first time. Okay, so how do we question how yes, so the question that I had in mind was, how do we want to show the UI? For now, right now, what happens is that we have the pace, which is the most important thing for a session. If it's going good, bad, or something else, then we also have ratings, and then we also have comments, and then we have reactions. So I think when looking at it, still it could depend on the order of the questions that has been asked. So I think we'll just go with the order of the questions. I think we don't need to really overcomplicate this, to be honest. So how do we want to do this? For each answer we have different values. For example, here we have comments, right? So a lot of comments would have been provided. um, Similarly, we have how do we do this? I'm thinking. So for example, look at this. So if I go forms dot new, let's create a test form. I'm pretty sure I created a test form last time as well, but let's have a look. So drive.google.com. Give me a quick second to see. Is it my PC that's really slow, or is it google.com that's really slow? Maybe it's my PC. If it's my PC, I should hear from my PC soon. Angular Cookbook 2e untitled form. Yeah, I see that there was an untitled form that I created. Okay, so then let's open that one. Okay, so I think we can go with this one. So here we had, do you smoke, option 1, option 2. Let's also create another one. This is the first question. Let's give it a drop down of something else, and then we also move this guy up. Okay, now we can also look into the third question. Let's say write a short paragraph. I really like this. Have you seen this? Whenever you now type in a Google form, it automatically chooses a type for you, like when did you start working, and you can see date. And if I say today, it should say this is time in the morning. I don't know, maybe it picks a time. It doesn't. It should have, but yeah, okay, anyways. But then it can actually pick those small things, like write in detail your thoughts, and then it can comprehend. It's going to be a paragraph, like what is your middle name, and then it can pick it's a short answer. So I really like how Google is doing it. So let's put that right here. Then also let's not make this one required, and now we can send it. So let's quickly do this, copy this, we're gonna go here, we're gonna put that right here. I don't think we should be collecting emails for this one, so let's quickly make a setting to do that. So settings, make this a quiz. No, do not collect. Allow response editing, yes. Limit to 1 response, no, actually no limit for the responses. Okay, so now I can actually use the same. Do not collect. Yeah, okay, these are defaults, that's fine. But now I can actually send this and then use it and multiple times as well. So let's quickly do that. I'm gonna copy link, go to the one, and we can say something like PulseChecker test form, and here we can have this guy right here, PC test form. This is the first question, something, and now here you can see that I have a bunch of answers right here. So option 2, what is your middle name? Who knows? And I'm gonna submit this. Okay, did I not select do not collect? Make this a quiz. Questions, form description. It shouldn't have collected my email, to be honest. But I think because I'm saying editing, that's why, maybe. Anyways, so now if I go here and refresh, I can see the responses, and this is what I was thinking about. So here you can see I have the first question that has how many responses, and then we have answers as well, and then yeah, so every question has these things. Now if I click copy, I've copied the chart to clipboard, but what would happen when where if I paste this, what happens? Paste, no. If I've copied this, can I paste it somewhere? Where can I paste it? Can I paste it here? No, I don't know what happens when I copy it. Anyways, so add section, add video, add image, title, import questions, blah blah blah. Okay, so all of these things If I submit then another one, let's say in this one I say something, I select option one, what is your middle name, Hassan, submit this guy, and then I can see the responses. So we have got two responses. Now I can see this. Ooh, look at this nice little thingy. Yee-haw. Okay, anyways. So option two, option one, do you smoke? Who knows? Hassan. So the text basically comes like this. We can take some inspiration from this, to be honest. So keeping keeping the cards simple. Okay. I think again the question would be why would you not want to send a Google form versus this one? I think that's going to be interesting to see. But I think we'll reach a point where we'll see um, if the UX becomes nicer. Okay, so that means we should have each question in the form that it's coming in, and then we can talk about how many responses it has, and then also see their values as well. So we're going to start with, I'm not really sure then if it makes sense to have all of them. um, hmm, interesting. Now this makes me think, should I hmm, I don't know why we have this scroll bar here. It's because of some weird thing, but we could go there. Question, individual. Yeah, super interesting how they're handling it, to be honest. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I do want to keep this simple and not to add a lot of stuff to it, unless we really need to. So let's do that, because if I see this, like even Google went to have the single row solution, as you can see, and this is what I'm also interested in, because here we try to do the same thing. When we start with, for example, a create a session, we do almost the same thing where we have this little guy, and that's pretty much it. That's what I'm interested in as well, looking at it. Anyways, so let's start with that. So I'm going to go to the session component, and then let's take it from there. So what do I want to do? I want to have a bunch of components that can be part of the PC UI. So I'm going to say, for example, a bunch of card components that we can have, and then we can render those cards essentially. So let's say we have feedback form, paste background, pulse meter, a bunch of cards right here. So we're gonna have a question card. So let's create a component. I think we can move the paste stuff into its own component. So let's see what we are using right now. If I go to session, no, not session, but dashboard, session, and here we have right now the ngx chart pi, which is being used at the moment. So we can have hmm, mm, mm, mm. I'm thinking if we should just move the question into its own component, and then manage it from there, so we don't have to like clutter all this component. So let's say we can say question card in here. So for example, let's say npa no nxg, and then we can say component, and then we can say directory, or let's give this a name as well. This should be called question card, and the directory can be lib pcui src lib components, and then question card. And here let's run a dry run to see how this looks. npx. Should we, I think we can also install nx in here as well, or globally as well, but we can take it later on. So then if we create the component, it should ask us where do we want it. So question card component, yeah, so as provided, then we'll take that one. So let's remove the dry run, so now we know where it's going to be created. I think dry run is really nice because you can always see where the component is going to be created, so you have no surprises. So we have lib pcui source lib components, and then here we have question card. So we can open question card, and I think we can start with the pc web source app dashboard session, and then this component. And I think we can take this whole thing, the whole switch out from here, and then we can move that inside here. So this now needs a question type. So in the session, we have session.questions, right? So we do have session.questions inside our session component. Session equals, and this is where we are assigning the session with ratings. So what we need to do is we need to first import the question card component. So let's quickly import that. So here we can say question card component, which should be this one. But in order to use this, I also need to export this from here. So let's copy this thing, and let's also say question card component.ts. So we import this from here, and we should be able to import this right here. Okay, so we import this guy, and then we save this guy, and then here we can say pc or is it PulseChecker question card question, oh, we say lib question card. This is not good. We also have to fix this as well, but we'll fix that in just a minute. So here we should have an input, and this should be of type, this should be called question, and this should be of type question, but I'm gonna confirm from the session. What do we use here for session equals session with ratings that has a question, which has question with responses, and then question with config. So it should be a question with responses, question with config, and I shall import both, and then this is gonna be there always. So once we have this, I think the HTML should be much happy. Or question types is not there. Okay, so let's import question types. Question, okay, let's say question types equals question type, which should come from Prisma client. And what else are we missing? The pie chart. Okay, so the session component should not know about the pie chart, so we can import the pie chart. I think this is gonna make the session page really fast because we are moving everything from this component to the question card, and the dependencies go with that. So I think it's gonna make it much more faster, especially if we use the differ in this case. So pie, where you at? Pie chart module. So we need to import the pie chart module in this here actually, that we can import. Where do I import this from? Pie chart module. Where are you importing this from? From swimlane nginx chart. Okay, so we import this guy right here, and then we also should look into the legend position that we have. So where do we have that? We have it right here. We also provide the color scheme as well, so we use that right here. Okay, I think we should also have these somewhere saved. And then we also have signals response count. What? Oh, the pipe. Okay, so the pipe has to be here as well. So in this case we can look at the pipe here and actually import this right here. Signals pipe, no, signals response count pipe. This should come from import from. Do I have the pipe inside? That makes it a bit difficult. Paste count, signal response. Okay, so I need to create the pipes right here in the UI as well. Okay, interfaces, folder pipes. Let's do a new file, index.ts. Let's also do this, and then we can say export. Hey BKDev, how's it going? I'm good. How are you doing today? How was your Friday? How was your Saturday, if that has started already? And we can export from this, and then we can also add this to the main one, so we at least say pipes. Okay, so we export this, and then we can import this guy from the pipes. I'm gonna remove this guy from here, so we actually can use it, and the custom colors as well. Custom colors, where do you come from? Paste chart colors. Where do paste chart colors come from? Where do paste chart colors come from? Constant chart colors. Exactly, that's what I was thinking. So this should have a constant, and the constant is there essentially. So let's say custom colors equals paste chart, and then these constants. Yeah, I think this could also go in the PC UI library, to be honest, just to have it in one places. So I'm gonna remove this chart colors from here to take it to the lib. BKDev says I'm doing well. Did a huge refactor on part of my project from about 1.5 thousand lines to 700. Ooh, that's big. Congratulations. And it's now more efficient, so just fixing bugs. Yes, that follows the refactor always. Need a break, so thought I'd check out Twitch. Absolutely. What's your project about? I'm also right now in the refactor mode. As you can see, I have been migrating some database tables, and now I'm also adjusting how those new tables that I've created after the migration will be used in the app. So the UI changes a bit, and also the data contract also changes a bit as well. So I'm currently looking into all that thingamajig. So we'll see. Constants. Let's also put this guy here, and then also let's create a index dot. Oops. I broke VS Code. Okay, I'm gonna wait. All right, so I see you say it's a world generator tool. made purely through JavaScript as a challenge. There's a live working version on my website if you want to check it out. Heck yeah, that sounds good. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's super interesting. So right now, as you see or you don't see it, it says migrate feedback to fields, which essentially is that right now I'm actually migrating this thing right here, which is the feedback that you get on each session. But these have traditionally been bound to either the session itself. So this is a session that you get feedback on, and this is the feedback that you see. So you create a bunch of questions, like quality of the content, rate starts out 4 out of 8 or 2 out of 5, blah blah blah. Um, but at the moment, or the way I actually structured the code, I don't think that's the best way of doing what I did. So I'm actually I already have migrated, or I already have created the scripts to migrate the data. So we are basically creating new entries of the new tables already, at least in local, not in production. Should I do a close? Hmm, darn it, we'll close this. Um, but now what I need to do is, with those things that would have been affected, how the UI basically changes. So we basically would end up in not only having the database changes, but then also the UI. So previously we did not have the ability to, for example, reorder the questions, so to say, but now we do. So previously, when you create, for example, a particular session for getting feedbacks, you just can say rating fields, and then this, and then you can provide 10 stars, 6 stars, 7 stars, or whatever, and then you can create your session with that. You can also remove, but there was no way of ordering those. And then when you actually go to a particular page, then it shows you these options. For example, if I go, if someone is reviewing this, they would see something like this. So this has already been reviewed by this user as too fast, but they could also say good pace, too slow. They could also change their rating, and then they can also submit this. And this actually in real time is shown on the dashboard. Is it going to be open source? That's a really good question. I plan to maybe earn money from this one someday. So I'm 98% sure this is not going to be open source, and it's not open source at the moment. But there could be some things that I will open source. For example, if I show you the reactions one, like what I was planning to do is, for example, maybe we could do it like this. We come back to me. So if this is one and this is the session that we have, da, 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 da. Why am I grabbing the wrong one? So for example, this is the YouTube live session one, and if I change it to good pace submit, then this should automatically be reflected. So you'll see that I'm not really refreshing the page, but it automatically does it. The idea was, if I am on the stage and I'm giving a conference talk among 500 people, and I have an earpiece on my in my ear, and then I have some organizer who can actually see the dashboard and can see, all right, there are at least 50 people who are saying this is too fast. So I would automatically know, like, okay, this is a problem, and then I should slow down. So this is primarily for getting feedbacks on talks, sessions, and if it's a good pace or something like that. But then also, if you change any reactions, this is one thing that I wanted to open source. So this little reaction thing right here, so you can essentially do a lot of reaction. I was hoping to also see the reactions right there, because if you put this in a big screen, then you should also be able to see that, hey, people are actually giving reactions. But whatever I'm doing right now, there's not even a single API call that is sent until I stop. And here you'll see another call going. Or you don't see it actually, because I have my face over there. So with all of what I just did, for example, if I do this, when you actually stop, it accumulates, or this component accumulates all the counts, and then I finally make a call. So it sends the information as in payload, and I can send the reactions like this was done. You still don't see it, and I'm gonna actually change the battery of my camera, but then also show you this. So it's like it accumulates all your clicks until the user is idle, and then the component itself sends this up the component tree, and then the parent component, which we call usually the smart component, can make a decision on, okay, make this API call or save this somewhere or whatever. But this also actually reflects in real time. So for example, if I see the hearts right now, it's 20. If I do 1 2 3 4 5, then it would also change the right here without even refreshing. So we are also using a real-time database. We are also using um, the regular database and whatnot. Oh, awesome! That's really nice of you to say. So this started for me at the company that I was working at. Today was my last day at the company, and I got a lot of feedback from the students that I gave the lectures to on the lectures, and it was really helpful because I could then see, okay, where do I need to improve. But I think the UI can be much better. The UI, I think the UI for those of those people who are actually giving the feedback is really nice, but the UI for myself as who is reviewing all of this, I don't think this is the best way of doing this, and that's why I was looking into, for example, Google Forms, and the way they sort of handle it. And I was also reflecting on, do I really want this to be and yet another Google form, or do I want to keep this specific, and provide a value of provide the value that the user is actually asking for. So that's what I was thinking. You're asking when you were professor. I was an instructor, yes. So it was not a university but rather a boot camp, and I was the head instructor of JavaScript there for 1 year. And before that, I've worked as a software architect for about 9 years. I mean, not as a software architect, but a software engineer, senior software engineer, blah blah blah, and then as a software architect. And I start my new job in February again as a software architect. I'm going back to complex challenges that I've so much missed in my current job, because I think if I keep teaching for the next 5 years, I think it's not going to take me further as much as a real software architect job would take. BK says, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? You look mid-20s, but with your experience, I'm guessing older. Yes, I think it's just the lighting and nothing more. Apart from that, I'm 32 years old. And I've had the regular education, as in going to the college, then doing a bachelor's in computer science, and then getting the job. So yeah. How old are you, and what do you do at the moment? How long have you been programming? No problem at all. If you want to share, sorry, if you want to see some more cool projects, I would encourage you to look at github.com/snirs. By the way, I'm assuming you're here for the first time, so I'm also a Google acknowledged expert in Angular for the past 5 years. When I say it now, it seems like a long time, but yeah, it has been about 5 years since I got myself acknowledged in Angular by Google. But I think you would love another project that you can actually look the code of. Um, Let me show you that one. It's I think I'm pretty sure it's in this one. Could be some flashback. If I am correct, I think this one is a bit ahead. Yeah, it's ahead of this one, right? Yeah, okay. So this one is the latest one. So this is a multiplayer game that I built during a hackathon. What you basically do with this one is I'm gonna show this off here as well. Thank you so much for the follow in advance. So I actually saw the number go up, so maybe you already followed. but I'm gonna demo the flashback game as well, since it has been some time. I think, and I really like this this idea that if you keep building something like occasionally, you don't even notice, and you end up with a lot of projects, and which is amazing, because when I think of things and I'm like, aha, I actually created that project as well and this project as well, and all I did was just kept building stuff. So I'm gonna show you this project, but I'm also gonna run the recording as well. Okay. So this is a project that I built during a hackathon for about, I think I streamed as well, or I know I streamed as well during the entire development of this one, and it took about 16 hours. And I actually started the hackathon on the second last day, so yeah, it was built in a rush, so it might not be perfect. But this is a multiplayer flashback game, which essentially means that you have a memory based game, and whoever can guess the cards based on their memory basically win. So what I'm going to do right here is, you can see that by default, when you use this application, you are assigned with a player name automatically. You can go to let's go and change your name here, so we can say the epic player, for example. And those of you who are in the stream, you can also join as well. So here you can see my name got changed. So what I'm going to do is, Ahsan is going to actually create a new game. So I can click create a new game, and this was built full stack. You can also hit this info to see the tech stack used, like Angular, NestJS, MongoDB, Firebase, Tailwind CSS, blah blah blah. I'm going to copy this link, and then I'm going to share this in the chat as well. So BKDev, you can also follow, or you can also join if you want. So now it's time for this guy, the epic player, to join the game. So I'm gonna just go with the link, and it asks, do you want to join the lobby? And I'm gonna basically say yes. So here you can see that this is one participant, you, and this also says Ahsan, but there is a bug, and sometimes it doesn't join the first time. Now when you refresh this and do this again, I think it adds you, yeah, as you can see right there, and then you can see right there. So as I said, it is not perfect. So how do you join? You can just click that, and then you join this lobby screen. Okay, I see you there as well. So now I am the one who actually who actually created this. So I'm the only one who can start the game, and everyone else can leave the game. So this guy, which says you for incognito, can leave and rejoin, but I'm the only one who can start. So I can start the game, and then it's going to start, and then you will be shown a bunch of cards, memory based cards. So you need to click two cards simultaneously which match with each other. This is done with Firebase. And Firebase is a real-time database. So all the things that are starting the game state, going inside, and then moving to the scoreboard, all of that is done with Firebase. And the data that is being stored finally as the scorecard is the MongoDB database, and there you have the persistent database, so you can always refresh, and then it will still show your score. So let's start, and let's try to win this one. So the round is going to start, and then you can see that it starts the game for everyone, and you should also see it. So you start clicking, and then you try to match the cards. So here, for example, this one was the same. I don't think this one was. No. And this one was the same. This one, nope. I think it was. Okay. It would be interesting if I don't win my own game. And this one, and this one, and this one. Okay. As soon as anyone finishes this, the game basically ends for everyone, and everyone should be taken to the scoreboard, and then you will see the score from everyone. So I can see the player 235 and the legend hopefully got 15. The epic player did not do anything at all. And then I obviously got the one. But this is live. This is in production. It has its own domain called appflashback.com. I pay for this, and for some weird reason, I saw people actually using it as well. I'm not really sure if they saw it from the stream or they found it somehow, but you can actually play this game with your friends as well. There's also an interesting thing. If I remember correctly, there was a gist as well. that I want to show as well. I'm not sure if it's this one. There was a I hope I can find this SolidJS tutorial pop up. All gist. Is it all gist? Can I try to find the gist actually? Older. I can see some. Oh, this is the one. App flashback hack. And there was also a gist that was much better than mine. So I'm gonna actually copy this one. So let's say you create a game, you invite your friends, you start the game, and then you let them be a few seconds just to make it real. Then you open the console, and then you go and paste this guy, and then you win the game. So what that just basically does is that it goes through each of the cards and then it clicks all of the matches. So when I was actually building that game, I showed them some I showed the stream how I built it and then also the vulnerability that is in the game, because the problem right now is, and also if you try to go back to the round, it will still take you forward to the scoreboard, so you can't really go and play the round again because your score is already done. So you can see it automatically forwards you to the scoreboard because that is the state of the game right now. But if I go to home, if I go and create a new game, what essentially happens is all the cards, when they're flipped back, still in the DOM, we have the representation or the emojis that they have. So in this one, for example, this one, I can actually see the emoji. So if you have this in the DOM, then you can effectively just query it and match all of them and then just click, as I showed you. So it was really interesting to see how you can find those vulnerabilities and how you can basically code against them as well. So it was super interesting. So this is a game that I built, I think, in the end of 2021, if I'm correct. Yeah, December 2021 to January 2022. So that was super interesting. No problem at all. And I can also share, because this is available on GitHub as well, so you can also always look at the code as well. I'm not really sure if I shared the link, but I can share the link as well, so you can also have a look. Yeah, it was super fun. I will admit that it was also a bit stressful, but it was, and also I was doing it live, so there was some pressure there as well. But then I think I got used to it, and there have been some interesting projects just like this. I'm not. At some point, I changed to have some of my repositories in the organization CodewithAhsan, which has 97 followers for some weird reason. But then this is also a quick game that you can also look into, especially if you're in Angular. I'm super into Angular, as you can imagine. But this is also a game that I built, not during a hackathon. And it's funny that this also has the same number of stars as the app flashback. Was that a interesting coincidence? Appflashback.com. Stars 12, and this has a stars 12 as well. I don't know what's going on with the 12 one. Awesome. I'm going to share this link with you as well. You should be able to find that. Drop your follow on GitHub too. You're my second follow. Oh, awesome. I feel humbled and I feel lucky. Thank you so much for the follow. Alrighty. So, if you know the 2048 game, you basically slide or you try to match the boxes. And when you match, they combine and then they become bigger, for example. So it has a really interesting vibe to it, but then also a lot of learning as well, that you can see, for example, the animation that happens when two boxes join, but then also the fact that I always thought that I would I would create a tutorial out of this one, but I think this is so complex that I never finished to create a tutorial, because there's a lot of things going on. For example, the grid that you see, you would imagine that we would also have these overlay boxes layout. For example, this one has an empty box, this one has also a box, but that is just saying 8. but it's actually only what you see as the numbers. Those are the things that actually exist around. So for example, this here you don't have anything at all, and the box that's here basically slides practically into this one, for example, just like this. So the number of boxes on screen are the only one that you see with the numbers, and then all of this, the magic that's happening is essentially a bunch of classes, css classes, a bunch of transforms. For example, if I just remove the transform for this guy, if I remove this for every single one, all of them would basically go to here, as you can see, right? So all of them are assigned their positions based on how the game is going forward. So the game logic, the game engine logic, and then the transitions, just to make that smooth, was pretty interesting challenge. And I have this thing where if I click inside, it closes it. I don't like it, but will. There's a double two on the left. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. Is this pure JavaScript? This is Angular. So this was built with Angular, and I named it NG2048 game. Was built. I just saw this. I think it was three years ago or something, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 3 years ago. Man, time flies. Said, man, you judge the selling of my website so hard that looks so. Yeah, I consider myself a person with an eye for design. But this design, I did not do this from scratch. I found this on, I think I found this on Canva, and I actually created another application similar to this one. You can see the same thing here. This was built for a friend who used to say just crazy things in the office, and then another friend would just take notes of it, and I just digitalized it so they can just go and click this button now, give the password that only she knows now. I don't even remember that anymore. Maybe it's in Firebase somewhere, but then she can actually add just from this prompt a new saying, and then you can just add to this. It's impossible to get fired in Sweden. That sounds pretty reassuring. So yeah, I think the idea is just to keep building, and this is, I also have a domain for this, of course, and I pay for that as well because I love that. Awesome. So let's get back to the thingy. What I want to at least do is to have a question card today that can render all the data that we discussed about. So this, and this at least. So right now I'm in the process of creating a sort of migration, so moving things around. So what we did before this all broke was that we had some constants, two files here. We moved one of them inside the PCUI library right here. We can also create a index.ts that can sort of behave like a barrel. So we can say from, and then we can export everything from chart colors, which is just the paste chart color at the moment. Let's import the paste chart color from the right file. So we should say, oh, but I'm not really exporting the constants index file from the top index file. So let's also export the constants. That's why TypeScript isn't happy and doesn't find it. So now it should be able to find it. There you go, import from PCUI. This file is happy. Now let's talk about the question once. So this should be able to just get it from the constants. This is happy, the HTML is happy, and now we can look further into it. Abdul Rahman Rasul says, can you give me a roadmap for learning Angular as a beginner? Sure, I'll give it to you in just a minute. BKF says, gotta head out, hope to catch you soon. Thanks again for showing off your project. No problem at all. Have a good one, and thank you for chiming in. So for Angular, you can look into angular.dev, and the way I try to learn any programming language is I go through their tutorials. So build the application while learning the concepts of Angular. So I'm gonna share this link in the chat. And the second thing that you can do is, if you want to invest in your learning and education, You can buy the Angular Cookbook and learn from that. Okay, it requires a bit of experience as a web developer, not necessarily Angular developer, but the book is not for absolute beginners who have no idea of web development, no idea of JavaScript, no idea of HTML. So the book demands at least some experience with web development. But if you are interested in getting a copy of the Angular Cookbook, this is the second edition that we have right here, and you can essentially get the copy from here. I don't think we have gotten any reviews yet, but I saw that we have started to get some sales from this. I also want to see like how many people are actually looking into this or visiting the site. That's not too bad. 162 daily active users. January 11. When was that? Today? No, today was 12. So yesterday we had 162 people, 82 people. Okay, not too bad. So people are actually coming in on the side. This does not obviously show us the sales that are going on, but still that's a good thing. Alrighty, so now that we have everything or the question component corrected, let's refresh. We are still missing it in the project report component.ts, so let's fix that. Project component.ts. Let's remove this guy. Let's bring this from PCUI, and there we go. We have our app nicely rendered now. Now this doesn't look good, of course, so we should be rendering the components. So in the session component right here, we are using lib question card. We need to pass the question inside and say question. And now if I render this should work. Yay, there we go. So now we have all the components being rendered. These are ones from before. We should probably have a heading that says from before, and then we can put that there. So here we can have like a horizontal row, HR. Here we can say h2 from before, and see that. Yeah, so since this is a grid, I think that's why it doesn't like it. So what we need to still have is like a single grid or a single column grid that shows all the components. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move all of these. Am I doing it correctly? Yeah, into a secondary div and put them inside. And let's use all these. I'm going to actually remove all these classes from this to this. Oopsie doopsie. And remove this. Okay. And then remove the HR from here as well. Mohammed Munib is asking, brother, is Docker necessary with NestJS? Please clear this point also. Docker is used to work with software that you don't want to install in your machine or have run in a container. So you can imagine Docker like a small box inside your computer. So in this Docker, you can have Postgres as a database. You can also run MongoDB as a database. You can also run Node.js. You can also run an operating system. So Docker is something that allows you to have an isolated stuff, what we call containers, in your machine. Docker is not necessary on NestJS. So if you're running a NestJS server, then you don't need Docker. You can use Docker, but you don't need Docker. Docker means that you're running something in isolation. So for example, if you're running NestJS, then you might be also working with a database. Now, that database could be in your machine. For example, you have installed Postgres within your machine, or you could have your database in the cloud. So you're using some service like Supabase, or I don't know, railway.app, somewhere that you have your Postgres database, but not in your computer. So that is the cloud option. Another option is that you have in your machine a Docker container that is running the Postgres database. So if you want Docker, you can use it, but it's not required to have it with NestJS. I hope that makes sense. And this is the same for NestJS, for just normal Node.js, for even your Python backend, Docker is not really required, but you can use it. And a lot of teams use that for various reasons that you can read on yourself. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. So now that we have this, I think we can, so this is the from before. Woo. Let's do it like this. Okay, so we have from before right here. Now let's do a, I'm gonna put a temporary classes on this one. So my4, let's also add that to this guy, and so we class my4, and also let's do a my4 4. Okay, so just having some gap from this one. So right now, as you see, this is our this is what we want to do. So what I'm gonna do is this comment, or let's have a gap. So this is gonna be a flex column gap 4. So we actually see some gap between these questions. Okay, so now we are seeing gaps in between these. Now what we can have is we are running for question of question. We are saying that we have a div, and then we have all of this blah blah blah. I think we have to move all of this inside the lib question card. So I'm gonna actually move this up, and then this goes inside the lib question card component. So I'm gonna go here, and then on the top I'm gonna move this, and then the switch goes inside right here, just so we have the information there. So let's have a look and see if everything still works. Yes, it does. The other thing is this HTML. So we also have, let's see, and I'm gonna keep this here. Okay, so we have got comment, paste, blah blah blah. Everything looks good. Moment when you say very thanks for clearing the point. No problem at all. Feel free to ask any questions, as it says right there. That's the point of these streams. Okay, so we have a lib question card component, and we can have right now here, if the question type is signal, then we render the signal thingy. We can also say the number of responses. For example, right here, I think we would have to, now this is an interesting one. I think we should have from here maybe a p tag that says, I don't know, responses, question dot responses dot length. So here it should say how many responses do we have. 2 responses. That doesn't make sense, or that doesn't look good, to be honest. Let's bring this into a section, and I am not really sure why. Oh, okay. Okay, so because the padding 4 inside, okay, so let's do it a p4 right here. So we do a p4, we have a section inside, we have a p, and then we have all of that. So let's do that. Okay, so it says 2 responses, and then we have the value, blah blah blah. Okay, so now paste, this looks really nice. This does not look really nice. So what we are going to do is we're going to keep this simple. So we use for this one, if it's a comment, we don't want to say take out the JSON, but we want to say value, and we value, and this one, can we do value? Can we do value? Did you say value of? No, I did not. How can I get the value of the content which is an array JSON? This makes it really tricky for TypeScript. How do you solve that problem? So this content is of type prisma.json value, right? Let's see what Google says. So give me 1 second. So here we have prisma JSON value TypeScript. I also want to see in Angular. Show results with Angular. Mm. Okay, so when we use the JSON value, it says okay. I don't know. Should I create a pipe for this, or this just talks about filter? I do want to look into types. Uh-huh. Okay, but then I'm still confused. Okay, so I hope we'll find a way. So this content is of type JSON value. I could take out the value and say that this is going to be a string or a number, or I don't know. I could create a pipe as well that filters out the value, but I don't. Okay, or I could also create a function as well that does the same as well. I don't know. Hmm. Okay, first of all, I also want to use the change detection strategy. That should be change detection strategy done on push, because I know this is not going to change. So let's keep it like this. Um, I'm thinking. Uh, Mm, Shukiduk. Here you probably get this a lot, but what makes you choose Angular over other frameworks like Vue or React? I have only experience with them, so just looking for a different opinion to see what I could be missing, or is it just personal preference like most things? I have been working in the software industry for 10 years, and I worked with both React and Angular. React for about 5 years, Angular for about 10 years. So, apart from being the personal preference, one of the things that I've come to realize is that, first of all, enterprises use Angular much more than React, and I love to work on large scale projects and enterprise projects. Secondly, it's really easy for a person to switch from one Angular project to another one. And from an organizational structure perspective as well, if someone just wants to move in the company in different projects, it's really easy. But then also outside of the company, if you switch jobs, it's very easy for an Angular developer to switch projects, because the way you write Angular is pretty much the same across different companies. And this is sort of one really powerful thing when it comes to a framework. Also, Angular is a framework, React is a library which is very tiny. As soon as you need anything at all, then you need a library for that. For example, for routing, you need one for making HTTP calls. If you're using Axios, for example, you have so many things. And Angular comes with an opinionated way of this is how you do things. This is where you put your components code. This is where you make API calls, which are usually services. So those are the kind of things that make it possible for the whole community to sort of follow a particular direction and establish best practices. So for teams which do not have a senior React developer and they're working on a React project, it usually becomes really really messy. I'm not sure if you have had the same experience as well when it comes to maintaining the same sort of code quality. I've seen teams with React developers having completely different code among themselves. So within the same team, people actually coded completely differently. Unless you have a senior in the team or a team that actually establishes the code standards, this is how we do things, this is what we use, these are the sort of tools that we'll use for state management, for example. Otherwise, some people are using, for example, use reducer for state management in React. Some people are using hooks, some other hooks. Some people are just using use state. Some people are using context. Some people are using Redux. Some people are using Zoostan. Some people are using, I don't know, Mappersmith for the API calls. Some people are using something else. So there's so many things that I've seen in the same team going completely different. So yeah, that's why my preference is usually Angular. And then also I have a clear idea of when the next release is coming, because We have 2 releases that happen each year. We also have great community that is very transparent, and you always know like what's coming next. When I look at the code from React, it seems like, or most of the time, it's like we have one problem that we have created, and then we have a hook to solve that problem, which creates another problem, and then we have a hook to solve that problem as well. So it goes in that particular direction. At least that's my opinion. But yeah, it's cool overall. I mean, all the technologies other are sort of on par with what Angular does, or Angular is trying to be on par with everything else as well. So I think it's just a lot of it just hype, but there are obviously a lot of facts when it comes to performance. Like it's very close, but it's still there might be facts which weigh one over the other. But my personal opinion is because of years of experience working with different teams. So I hope that answers the question somehow. Alrighty. So, question card component. We were thinking on how do we get the contents value, and I think if I create a pipe that solves this, I think I would just be using that pipe, and it would make much more sense to have that use everywhere. I think I could use that pipe basically both in the HTML and in the TypeScript. So let's create that. So let's say npx nx generate pipe. I'm not really sure if this still works with the project or if it requires a directory, but let's go with the directory. So here we are going to say directory, and here we can say lib pcui src lib no, not component, but pipes. And inside that we can just say the pipe's name is going to be called question, no, response content. So response content, let's go with that, right? Response content. And let's see if this makes it work. So we're talking about an Angular pipe here. What is the name? It's going to be response content, and we should be using this one, PCI. Yes, that one. Okay, so this is also suggesting to use the directory from, but I did use the directory, right? Okay, anyways, it says to use this as provided later on, but that's fine. Crook says, thanks for this. Yes, I can see how that would save a lot of debates over which packages etc people would use and speed up onboarding. Yeah, exactly. Onboarding on Angular projects has been very, very easy compared to the projects that I've worked on with React. I mean, I do accept that some of the teams that I've worked with, which had dedicated teams who were managing like how the whole project or the code base is going to be maintained and what kind of technologies do you use in React and what kind of practices, like setting up the linting rules and the standards, that has been really, really good as an experience overall, and I've had no issues in those ones. But majority of the projects don't have that, or majority of the companies don't have the luxury to have that sort of team or a senior developer to maintain all of that. So that's my opinion. Mohammed Munib says, if I have to move from React to Angular, from where should I start learning Angular? From which version? You should always learn the latest version. So Angular 17 is the latest version, and the differences in the versions from, I think, Angular 10 even to 17 is not huge when it comes to, there are more features that were added, but none of the existing information or the core concepts have been outdated, so to say. So if you want to start learning, you either go to angular.dev, and you start learning there. Or if you can invest in a book, then you can get my Angular Cookbook from the marketplace. So you can get an ebook or a digital copy of it. So just go to Amazon and search Angular Cookbook 2nd edition, and you should be able to find it pretty easily. And if you just want a link, I can share the link. It's angularcookbook.com. I'm gonna share the link here, and this basically covers the latest version of Angular 17, and the new logo can be seen here as well. So this basically covers the latest version. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so now that we have the pipe, let's quickly look into, first let's export this one. So export from, let's do response content.pipe. Then we're gonna have a look into the pipe itself. So let's go here. The value that we'll get here is actually gonna be content. Okay. Then we're also gonna have the content. I think we should not get content, but I'm thinking now, to be honest. Maybe we should get not content but question. So we can get question, and here we can get question with responses. And here, what was the configuration that we just did in another component? Question with config, right? So question with config and then question with responses. So here we do have question with config. So we get a question with question with config. Can I import that? Thank you. Appreciate it. I don't have anything. And then the type that I actually get back is going to be either string, number, if I'm correct. Let's look at the Prisma. So the response content is going to be int, string, or an array of string. So here we can also say string. Okay. Yeah, don't worry. I'm gonna use it. Don't worry. Okay, so we can say if question dot type equals question type, or we could also use a switch as well. So here we can say switch question dot type. If the case is question type dot, I think we can go with comment first. We can say return question dot response. Now that is a problem because then we are not talking about question, we are talking about a response actually. And oops, give me 1 second. So responses is of type array response, and the response can have different values. Okay, but then we need, now this becomes difficult because now for a response you need to also have the question as well, or question type as well. I'm thinking, can we rather check if the type is array, or let's do that. Let's do that actually. So if I just say this is actually a response, okay, of type response from Prisma, then if we check if response dot content dot value as Prisma dot JSON, or wait a second, so this is Prisma dot JSON value, right? What does Prisma say here? So here it was like JSON value, string number, boolean, JSON object, JSON array. Yeah, but this is what I was talking about. So in this case, we're getting pets object 0. Exactly, but that's okay. Okay, so in this case, we are saying that Prisma.json object is right here. Give me the advanced one. So insurance is ID, da da da. Yeah, I don't really like it, but okay. Okay, so in this case, we can say it's a JSON value. So here, let's say we say response.content. And how do you extract out the property from it? Okay, so then you have as Prisma we're gonna have to import Prisma as well. Prisma dot JSON object, and here we can say const content let's do a content like this. Then I can say constant dot or content value, and here we can say array dot is array content value. Then we just return back content dot or content value as string. So we return it as a string in this case. What happened here? Function lacks ending return define. Yeah, but that's fine. Okay. So in this case, if it's an array, then we send it back. If type of content value string, then we return content value as string. Otherwise we return content I think instead of this we could have returned value. So what we should return is in the end constant dot value as string or an empty array like this. But here we should rather say if number dot is nan, or actually we can say is nan content value. So we don't have an is nan, is not a number, then as string what argument of type string is not assignable of type number. Oh, okay, sorry. But is then does that take a num? Oh, okay, interesting. So then I can just say number, numer, not really number. Okay, if that's the case, then we return. But in which case do we assign the value as undefined? So if it's not a number, then we should just say return as number. Okay, then I think this makes much more sense. So then I can remove this guy, and then what I want to do is just render this with the pipe. So I can go here. First of all, let's import the response content pipe, which I can use right here, and then here but then I can directly say that the pipe basically receive the responses content. No, I think we can just say content, to be honest, as like prisma.object. I think, well, let's see if this satisfies it. So if I say response.content response content, no, it doesn't work because it says JSON value is not assignable type. But I think it should be this, right? Okay. I'm gonna then go here. I'm gonna then go to response content and then define the type right here. And then I can say JSON object or Prisma dot JSON object, Prisma dot JSON array. Now what does it say? Property value of. Ah, okay. Sorry, my bad. So this should have a value of type this. But does this satisfy it? I don't think so. Okay. No, so this is going to be definitely a JSON object. And is this a generic? Okay, then I can keep it like this. But then the response I don't know if I can go with any right here. No, I don't think so. Okay, let's go with the response in that case. Let's go with the response. So in that case, then I just need to go to the response content pipe, and here we need to say response is gonna be of type response from Prisma client, and then we can say const content equals response.content as Prisma dot object. Okay, I think this should make it happy. And now if we go here, yeah, so now you can see that this returns the string correctly. I think that's good. Okay, but then what do we want to do with the okay, we'll look into the further contents later on, but this one then just needs some styling. So here we can say class px2 or px3 py, I don't know, 1.5, right? And then we can say, well, let's do a py2 px or just p2, and then we can say gray or dark gray. Let's come up with a 400 in this case, rounded MD. Okay, so this is what we have gotten. We're gonna go with an 8 here with a text of white, and we'll also do a group. Oh, so we have a P here. I think instead of P we can give a UL, and we can also go with an LI, and we can also go with a class that says flex call gap 4, and I think this should look much nicer, as you can see. Cool. This UL should also have, or I think this P should also have a margin bottom of 4, so MB maybe 6 even. Okay, so we got 2 responses, and we can show those responses right here. Join the screen, woohoo, too slow bro. There we go. Then we've gotten this guy right here that shows the pie chart. No problem at all. I think we could also show the legend true. I don't know, can I just say legend true? Legend true. Okay, good and slow. Can we also say legend position? And then what is this? What is the position that I can give here? Right after. Okay, what are the legend position? Legend position. Let's see the types from the types. Legend position. Yeah, I said right. Why did it not take it? Ah, okay, because the legend position, of course. So legend position right. This doesn't seem right to me. What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Chart legend padding with auto important. Padding 0. Margin. What happened to this guy? Is it because it doesn't have any space there? Mm-hmm. But why is it on the right side? Oh, on below. Maybe this is why. Please fix yourself. Okay, then I'm gonna. Okay, so if I click just good, it at least highlights that. As a React.js developer, is it easy to onboard Angular or is it difficult? A bit difficult. I don't think it's very difficult. You can start today, and I think you can learn in a month or two a lot of things if you already know React. To be honest, so it's not difficult to get started. To be honest, labels true. I think we can remove this thing because, to be honest, I don't see the value of it. I mean, the view, I don't really know. Maybe 450, 250. Let's see. Yeah. Mm, I don't know. Let's see. So this one right here. Legend position is this one. Custom colors, legend true, labels true. I don't know what happens if I remove this guy. It still shows because we have the legend true. I don't think we need that, to be honest. Okay. So now that we have this, let's look at the first field as well. I think the rating is going to be, do we have the rating component somewhere? Oh, do we have? Okay. So then we have the rating component. What does it show? Aha. But do we also have rating? No. Okay. So we have disabled stuff, but we don't really have. Okay, let's have a look at this. So if I wanted to say, give me rating component like this, then I would have to, in case of rating, I would then have to say rating. Does it take a value? No, it takes a label. Label is question dot label, and value is gonna be I think I just need to use this guy. No, not this guy, but this guy, and it should automatically get the value. Uh, 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 uh. But the value here says string number, number. This is also interesting because now the value that we need to show is a bit tricky. How to handle this correctly? String is not assignable to a number. Mm. I'm thinking what is the proper way of doing this, because I could hack around the value, if that makes sense. But for example, this, or we could have a boolean coercion as well. And now I don't really remember. Boolean, no. Number, coercion, Angular. Coercion, Angular. Angular CDK coercion. Yeah. It's not in Angular itself, but it's rather in the Angular CDK. So where was the, I mean, you could then have array coercion. You could also have okay, let's have a look. So there should be string no number number coer. So here we have number coercion component number 110. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. Wasn't it the, yeah, the set, no, the input. mm, okay, okay, never mind, let's see. Can we, the thing is, uh how do we do this dynamically so we don't have to do it manually all the time? Because right now what we are having to do is we have a pipe being used, but we can't really say that it gives a number back, I think. Because as far, I mean, no, I don't want to do that, to be honest. If I say number somehow, then it should just return number. But even if I say that, then still this wouldn't comprehend that it's supposed to return back a number. That is the problem. It would happen in TypeScript, but how would it would happen in the pipe? Because here everything is being calculated, but this is being calculated at runtime. You're checking the array at runtime. um, you're also doing a bunch of other things as well, and that is why it's really interesting to see. Maybe we could rely on the content question types dot rating, right? So if I let's type, yeah, I think let's, we also need to provide the question type. Okay, so let's do it like this: question dot type. So in this case we also then get the type of question. question type. I think this makes much more sense, and then also allows us to do a lot of things as well, right? Because but now even then, you how would you know that the question type, even if it's the right question type, this part does not really know a question type that is being rating returns a particular value. That is the problem. But at least it's better than what we have here. So if, for example, if the question type is sorry, if the question type is question type dot rating, then we return this as a number. Okay. um Else we return as that whatever we have. And then this one was for this one was for which thing exactly? The string array. We had a question or a comment that has a string, rating that has a number. But why do we have an array of strings? Why do we have an array of strings? Which question type would require comment, rating? Is it multiple choice? Okay. Okay. So multiple choice or checkboxes. So if we have type equals question type dot multiple choices, then we return that. But even in that case, we don't really know what kind of value we are returning from here, to be honest. And this is the problem. This is the problem. And this thingy could be there, could not be there. But it's still better to just pass that. um but how should I have different pipes for different response values, or can each question, because here, for example, when you say the question type is this, I think it should be able to comprehend automatically what the type of the JSON value would be. That is what I'm thinking about. So for example, question response is question with config, right? Question with config can be any of those signals, rating with options, blah blah blah. Question with responses says you have a type, then you assign all of the type, and the response is having an array of response. But then the problem here is where the problem comes in. The response should be dependent on the type of question, if that makes sense. Mm. That's a weird problem to solve via pipes. And if I make it more complex, it's going to be more complex. Can I? No, I don't think I can use number here, right? Or can I? The number can't be here. Angular to number pipe. I think it's a decimal pipe. So do we have this right here, and then I can say digit? But this gives you a format number. That's the one. But we have a number pipe. Interesting. That I did not know. Or I haven't used it at all. That's super interesting. But this is what I'm talking about. So in this case, then I could just say this. Okay, so let's do this. Let's remove the question type and the question type from here. And when we go there, we can revert the choices as to what they were before. So no question. So in this case, I don't really need to have that. But this could but that's the problem. It doesn't spit something that is a number. Do. Okay. Hmm. I think the pipe should always return back a string, because then even if it's a number, I think you would still have to return this. If it's an array, okay. So let content be this. Then we should be able to say content is a JSON object. Content content equals here. We can say value and here can we say content equals JSON dot stringify fair enough. So here we can say const content to return. Let's make it let. Then we change this guy to this, and then we just return. By default we can assign it like this. Otherwise we have content to return, but return this at the end. So this always spits out a string. This has to have a question dot type, but then this also needs a question dot type. But then the value is I don't know. I mean, it's a value where we have a response that has a pipe, but then this value should be converted to a number. Why does this say string or null is not assignable to type number. Why does it say it's gonna give null? Ah, okay. So then you go with it. Doesn't look really nice to me, to be honest. This says string slash 0 is not assignable to a number. What do you mean? So this number, what does this is split? Ah, okay. But that's what I'm thinking as well. Like two number. How can we do a two number there? Uh, I don't have anything that actually converts a string. Uh, we have format number, but we don't have the two number. Angular pipe. Number pipe 101 with example. You have a decimal pipe. Percent pipe, custom number pipe. You want to have a custom number pipe? Ah, okay. Okay, I'm gonna create one. So let's simply say gc pipe to number, and let's say to, I hate it, but I'm gonna do it anyways. To number pipe. Yeah. Okay, so then we just add that to the to number. Okay, so that's the one. Then we should just add this guy to number pipe, and instead of this thingamajig, we can just say to number. Please work. Oh yeah, of course, I haven't done it yet. So string, basically value having a string doesn't just do anything and return a number. So returns a number value. Not too fancy, but why don't we have it already? Maybe we do and I'm just stupid. You never know. Sign in with Google and go to the API host. Look at that. First field, and there you go. What else did you want? Okay, so this looks not too good, but I don't think this looks also very bad. That is the problem. So this response content type, this essentially looks at the, if it's an array, for example, then it returns content to return. So how about instead of this, we basically use a switch. So let's switch on the type, and case of having a, I mean the default one, let's quickly put the default one. But if we have sorry, so this one ends right here. So we were talking about multiple choice, which is right here. So multiple choice, we do that. Question type dot multiple choice, and then also you have the same for checkboxes. And default you can, yeah, I think it does the same thing. So if I come here, it's going to show you that. But then I should be using the same thing on everything essentially. So instead of using question card right here, yeah, I mean for comment we are already using that. Noise for okay, that's a different one, but then yeah, I think this does the job. But this pulse rating should be disabled. True. So it doesn't do anything, as you can see. Cool, awesome, I love it. But then if we have this, then we don't really need the pace and all of these things, to be honest. And the quality of the content, now this is a problem actually, because if I have one response, that means it's ah now we have a problem, because then I think we can only why did I even do all of this? I think it's just the brain not braining. um okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause right now, and then we'll look into it again tomorrow. So but I'm gonna commit still. Let's do a commit, because I think I need to remove a bunch of things that I just did which don't make sense. Git add git commit m feed question card, add question card for comment signals and paste, no, not paste, rating, rating. And I'm gonna go add more stuff tomorrow. So created the question card, then I can also say added response content pipe, added to number pipe, modify the layout, the main layout for better margin, moved chart colors to the lib, and I think that's pretty much it. So I was gonna push it, and with that said, I think I'm gonna go off now. It has been about 2 hours 20 minutes. So thank you so much whoever joined, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Take care. Good night.